in lovely Lenox, Alabama, straight north of Pensacola, 70 miles. It is Good evening, folks. Ken Hovind here and the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in lovely Lenox, Alabama, straight north of Pensacola, 70 miles. It is August the 28th, 2019. Thank you for joining us. We're the folks who believe the Bible is absolutely true, literally scientifically accurate, and the evolution theory is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the history of humanity. If you believe in that, we're here to help. We can help fix that problem. Bring your group down to visit our Dinosaur Adventureland. All kinds of cool science activities, things to do around here. We add stuff every day. We're adding a bunch of stuff in the day. Well, we have our science centers divided up to 6 days of creation. Day 1, let there be light. So there's a whole bunch of science experiments on light, electricity, magnetism, etc. Day 2, he made the atmosphere, if you read Genesis chapter 2. So we got a bunch of science experiments about air pressure and air density and the components of the air. Lots of cool stuff on air. And then so it goes through the 6 days of creation. Day 5 is when he made the fish. So we're going to have a bunch of aquariums in Day 5 room all about cool fish. You used to raise a bunch of fish. Coral, it's expensive. Very, yeah. 10 grand in a 55-gallon tank. We don't want to do that. I'm thinking more like $100. Not going to work. We need some saltwater fish. Go down and catch some. We're 70 miles from the ocean. Anyway, if you have some tanks you're not using or some aquarium equipment, send it on down to Dinosaur Adventureland. Let's see, where did I leave off? Okay. Teachers, feel free to bring your students here or have me come speak in your class. I speak in a lot of public schools. We need a plumber and electrician now for a couple nuisance projects to get us caught up on a few things. Many people have come for a day or a week or longer to help us build at Dinosaur Adventureland. Come on down. 67 baptized so far. Ryan is not here yet, is he? Where's Ryan and Julie? They're coming, okay. Oh, we got some fossils. God wants to give us a bunch of cool fossils there. They need a ride to Lenox, Alabama. If you're coming this way, there's some fossils. Call Brady. Oh, okay. Well, get a hold of Brady then. If you can just go get them, see how heavy they are. If somebody else, if somebody's coming that way, get a hold of Brady. 8 new thumb drives, 4 of which are available now, and the others coming soon. Okay. And we update these all. This is all my slides I use in PowerPoint. So if you want to get those and use them to teach Sunday school classes or whatever you want to use them for. Okay. August is the month we're asking everybody to contact your social media circle and say, look, sign up, subscribe to Kent Hovind's YouTube channel. We're trying to reach the whole world from Lenox, Alabama. And this is a great way to do it. And you can help with that. Spread the gospel. You can join our 777 Club, which is where we ask folks if they can give $1 a day. Let's see, summer special packet for kids in public school. Get one of these, get it to any kid you know that goes to public school. Help unbrainwash them. Okay. Bob from beatbob.com speaks in public schools. He called me. He said, Brother Hovind, will you ask your folks that watch your channel to please contact their public schools, if you have any contact with them, and say, look, would you contact Bob? Here's his contact info. And say, try to schedule him to speak in public schools. That's what he's done for 20 years. And he's got some holes in the schedule, wants to fill them in. So please, get a hold of Bob, one-man volleyball team. I'll go ahead and confess, instead of us getting second place, which is true, he actually beat us 25 to 21. It was embarrassing. There were 9 of us against him, and he beat us. You were playing, weren't you? Yeah. It was incredible. Like, how does he do that? Anyway. So Bob got next to them. Okay, the scooters we've been advertising are for sale. Somebody has said, would you please hold it for 2 days? I'm sending a check. I haven't seen the money yet. But if you'd like to buy the scooters, you can be second in line. Both scooters are, I don't know why they call it a scooter. They go like, have you driven them? Yeah. I don't know how fast they go, but they're still climbing at 100. I know that. Aren't they, Laszlo? Oh yeah, they are. Okay. Today, took a picture of the swan, what we call Stump Lake. The eagle is back. Yeah. There he is, up on top of the dead tree. And I did not get the picture transferred in of the fawn. We found the mother abandoned a baby fawn. Somebody got to pet the fawn and all that stuff. Isn't that cute? Man. How old is it, would you guess? Anybody got a clue? A couple of weeks max. Yeah, still covered in white dots, baby deer. Okay. If you'd like to help us stay open for free, Dinosaur Adventure Lab, you can join our 777 Club. We're asking folks if they can give $1 a day. Make any donations to drdino.com, at Dr. Dino, to CSE, Creation Science Evangelism. A couple of quick comments here. Jason said, beware of any programs today that can help you or protect you. There's a bunch of scams going around the internet. Phone calls, and we're here to protect you. Give us all your information. Okay, right, yeah, right. Watch the hook up Bitcoin to those chips with a SIM card for service. What are they talking about there, Steve? Cryptocurrency. Coming soon, huh? Yeah. There was a blonde said, Doctor, every time I take a drink of coffee, it hurts my right eye. He said, take the spoon out of the cup.
And the connection?
Just, I wanted a drink and I saw the fork in there and I thought I better go ahead and tell the joke. Okay. All right. Explain it to him later, okay? This guy said, folks can climb Mount Everest without oxygen. Yes, some superhuman can. Some guy named Reinhold did it. Well, could he live up there would be the question. We covered that last night about the increased air pressure. Heather writes in, doesn't a person have to know they are taking the mark of the beast? These are from last night's program. Heather, there is a verse in Revelation 13. It says you have to receive the mark and worship the beast. I'm hoping there's some kind of connection there. I don't know. It looks to me, maybe you have to swear some kind of allegiance. I don't know. When they finally start doing this with the microchip. We'll see. Don't know. Can't answer it. Way to go, Ryan. Ryan got baptized. Oh, I was going to show Ryan's baptism. Let's see. Alt space N. Baptism. And I'll drag it over. There, okay, turn it up there. Yeah, face this guy's over here. Julie, who answers the phone, Julie's brother, Ryan. And you can hold your nose if you need to with that. Okay. All right, holler when you're ready, Steve. I led him to the Lord yesterday, driving around the Kawasaki Mule. Ryan Martin asked Jesus Christ to come into his heart and be his Savior. The Bible says, whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Now, after you're saved, the Bible commands that those who have been born again to get baptized simply as a public symbol of what's happened inside. I can't see inside his heart, God can see that. But when you accept Christ, you get baptized as a symbol of the death, burial, and the resurrection of Christ. Similar to putting on a wedding ring, it's a public symbol to celebrate the place. So this is a symbol. Ryan,
talk to me.
So Ryan, have you accepted Jesus Christ as your Savior?
Off with you.
Okay, upon your profession of faith, I baptize you, my brother, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Buried in the likeness of the death, raised to walk in newness of life. All right. Congratulations. Amen. Hang on one more second. I would recommend, if you have never led anybody to Christ, that you learn how to do it, and there's nothing like it in the world. Making spiritual babies and watching them grow. Awesome. Okay, we're going to take a couple more questions here. Let's see, slide number 2504, Alt-BG, 2504, enter. Nobody was implanted with chips for Obamacare. Kent just lied and stoked fears, which is par for the course for him. Well, Tyler, that's not a very kind thing to say. Would you please show me the exact clip where I said he was going to do that? I said he was going to recommend it and going to try to do that. I try very hard to factual and everything. If I share something with someone, I try to be very factual with that. Like to, if apparently you're upset with me for other reasons, that would be my guess. If you pick on something that's small, probably because you believe in evolution, and I'm stomping all over your stupid god of evolution. So that's probably just my guess on that. All right. Mr. Privacy writes, our canopy theory. He doesn't like the idea of canopy apparently above the atmosphere like I taught. Question, how would one reconcile the redemption story told in the stars to Adam and Eve with the canopy theory? Okay, well, if there was a crystalline canopy a couple inches thick of ice above the atmosphere, squeezing all the air down into 10 miles like I mentioned the other night, you could see the stars even more clearly. The reason there's such a haze and an atmospheric twinkle is because of light coming through 660 miles of air. If it was squeezed tighter, it would be even more clear. you'd see even more stars. And probably, I happen to believe, you could actually hear the music of the stars because that crystalline canopy, coupled into a super low light, would take radio waves into audio signals. You could actually hear the stars, hear the gospel story. See, Adam and Eve didn't have a Bible. It hadn't been written yet.
I'm out of range.
So God gave them, I believe, the whole story in the stars, the gospel in the stars. Is that book over there behind you, The Gospel in the Stars, by D. James Kennedy? I think it's on that shelf, the center one. It's an incredible book about 12 different zodiac symbols, which have all been perverted now into the zodiac. Probably started off as something, the gospel story, just by theory. Okay, secondly, he said, it had to be in the humidity. When I don't know, under high pressure, it can't rain. If there was high pressure from a canopy above, you notice anytime the weatherman says high pressure, there's clear skies. Because so probably, when Noah was preaching it's going to rain, he was probably telling something that people had never heard of or thought of. Just like we do today. Jesus is going to come down in the clouds and blow a trumpet and catch everybody up. Yeah, right, sure he is. You know, it just sounds like so far out there to them. When Noah was preaching, hey guys, water's going to fall out of the sky. I bet everybody thought he was insane. Probably had never happened before because of the high pressure and humidity. I don't know how humidity would work, or if the God had compensation for all those things to keep it perfect. But God made a perfect world. And it says very clearly there was water above the firmament. How do guys who don't believe it? How do they explain this? The model where Ken Ham's camp says that the earth would have boiled over for that much pressure coming out of it. I don't think the model is accurate. I do not know what Ken Ham believes on this topic. It doesn't matter. He's got his own ministry, and God bless him. Hope he does great. But I teach what I think to be true. I think the evidence shows there had to be something. How does he explain them living a long time? How does he explain the giant insects? I don't know. I've met him a couple times. I'll ask him if I see him again. I love what he's doing. Praise God, he's not the enemy. We differ on a few little things, but he can't be right on everything. He's trying. Okay? I am, but that's okay. All right, Q&A folder here. I have, gee whiz, a bunch of them. Okay. From Mark. Dr. Hogan, why, according to the Bible or yourself, do we humans experience anxiety? Thank you for anybody ever input or comments on that? Anxiety. How many of you have ever had problems getting nervous or worried about something? Anxiety. The Bible says be anxious for nothing. That's easy to say, but it's pretty hard to do. When the bills are due and you got a headache and you don't feel well and you just got the word you're going to die of some kind of disease, it's pretty hard not to be anxious. But Jesus said be anxious for nothing. I guess trusting in him. So, according to the Bible, why do we experience anxiety? The fact that we can experience emotions at all, I think, is evidence we are way more than just animated meat that evolved. Like the one atheist, if you look at Google, Where Did God Come From by Kent Hovind, the 2-minute answer I gave is going viral on the internet. He asked me, this atheist asked me, where did God come from? And as part of my answer, I said, well, if your brain is nothing but 3 pounds of chemicals that got together by over a year, how can you trust your own thoughts and your own reasoning process? You couldn't trust your own thinking. Maybe you got a couple chemicals in there that work. We did, by the way, but so why do we humans experience anxiety? Mark, I don't know that I have a good answer to that. You might want to call, tell you what, if you call my office sometime, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3, I've got a friend who's an expert on marital counseling and counseling in general, and he'd be glad to talk with you about that. I'll give you his number. Just give me a call. If you have any marital issues you'd like him to help with, he's genius at it. He can just see right through the smoke and mirrors and get right to the heart of the problem. He's really good. So just call me. I'll give you his number. I'll do a 3-way with if you'd like. Okay, question, Adam and Eve. If Adam willingly ate the fruit for Eve, then why did he accuse her of giving him the fruit in Genesis 3? Well, it appears according from 1 Timothy chapter 2, 1 or 2. 1 Timothy, it's in there somewhere. The Bible tells us clearly that Adam knew full well what he was doing when he ate this. Eve was deceived. Adam knew what he was doing. Best way I can reconcile all the verses from Genesis 3, the story of the fall, is Eve was tricked. Satan came to her and said, hey, if you eat off that tree, you can be like God. Whoa. and she fell for it. Adam, I think, saw her and said, oh no, honey, look what you've done. You have made, this is a mess. I better eat some too, and I'm going to become sin to save you. Whatever God does, he's got to do to both of us now. So I think it's a symbol of Jesus Christ, who said, I will become sin to save you, the bride of Christ, which is the church is called the bride of Christ, and I don't understand that other than the Bible teaches it. So I think then once God came to talk to them, when he said, Adam, did you eat off that tree that I told you not to? Of course, God's not looking for information. He's looking for a confession, right? You know how it is with kids, right? With you got chocolate all over them. Did you eat those cookies? Okay. Right? I think Adam, because Adam's response was interesting. He said, the woman that you gave me, she gave me of the tree and I did eat. He did finally confess, but he tried to blame her and blame God actually for giving her to him.
I was about to say that he blamed God for it.
Right. Everybody looks for a way to blame anybody else but themselves when you do something wrong. He said to Eve, did you eat off that tree? And she said, the serpent. Pass the buck, you know. It's the serpent's fault, implying, of course, that serpent that you made, God. So this is really your fault, God.
I need to target something first.
It's like a kid with chocolate over it. Did you eat those cookies I told you not to? Yeah, but you left them out on the counter. Okay. How many know what I'm talking about? Come on. Like trying to blame mom for leaving the cookies out on the counter. So, yes, I think it just shows human nature. Kim Kimma. P.S. I love all your videos. Well, thank you. I think it's human nature. We all try to do that. Find anybody else to blame when it goes wrong. Okay, here's one from Holly. And I'm sorry, it takes me forever to get to the Q&A folder, and Julie has more folders in there waiting for me. I'm trying. Dr. Oven, I see the peace agreement in Israel is about to take place. Has anybody heard anything about that lately? I said for years when I did my chart from prison, Steve, swing over and show this, would you? This chart. I had to change during my time in prison after studying for 5 years on this topic. I'd always believed in the pre-trib rapture. Jesus can come any minute. Basically, there's a 7-year period coming that most people refer to as the Great Tribulation. This is all shrunk down here to this little yellow stripe. Jesus came here. Vikings were running around beating up on people here. Here we are today, 2019. There's a 7-year period coming, and I stretched it out to give all the details on it up here. I taught for 40 years that we get raptured out, caught up out of here before the tribulation. This is called the pre-trib rapture. It's just not true. I wish it was. In the middle of this 7-year period, the Antichrist breaks the treaty. This is from Daniel chapter 9, verse 27. There's going to be a treaty made. I said in my book that I wrote on the topic, What on Earth is About to Happen? You can get my chart in my book from drdino.com, what I think the Bible teaches about the future, what's coming next. He tells us what's coming. There's going to be probably another war. The Jews, with the Arabs against the Jews are going to whip them again. And then they're going to make a treaty. Hey, stop the war. We'll let you have 10 acres on that Temple Mount. It's just something it's going to be something like that, I guess. That's going to, for a measly $24 trillion. It's going to be the most expensive real estate ever sold. In the middle of that 7-year treaty, and the treaty is going to be for 7 years. No fighting for 7 years. The Antichrist is going to break the treaty. So half of 7 would be 3.5. During this first part, they're actually going to rebuild the temple. The temple is built because they're actually doing sacrifices when he comes in and desolates the temple. Same thing happened back about 168 years before Christ. Antiochus Epiphanes went down and fought against the Egyptians. He got whipped and his army's going back through Jerusalem on the way home. And he decided to desolate the temple. So he offered a pig as a sacrifice on the altar, which to the Jew is the ultimate insult, the sacrifice of a pig on their altar. And some guy named Maccabees came in there with his bunch of kids and army, and he threw the bad guys out and cleansed the temple. So that's all found in the book of 1st and 2nd Maccabees in the Catholic Bible. But that was about 168 BC before Christ. But the temple was desolate back in those days for 1,000 days, 1,025 days or something. They could not use the temple, about 3 years. Now, the Bible says the temple's when the real desolation takes place, it's going to be desolate for 2,300 days. That's from Daniel chapter 8 and verse 14. So all this is on the chart. And Julie, she's not here. How much is the chart? 25 bucks? The big one? And 10 bucks for the same thing, a smaller version. Okay, but so the question was, oh, here's the question right here. No, that's the wrong one. I get off track sometimes. I've forgotten more things than I can remember. But that's good, because there's 3 signs of a genius. One is a poor memory.
Keep your feet on the ground.
I think I'll get the 2. Okay, so there's going to be a 7-year treaty. I suspect it's coming in 2021. I'm not setting a date. I just said I suspect that. You watch. In the next 18 months, there's going to be another war, and then they're going to settle a treaty. They're going to solve the problem with a treaty, and I suspect it's going to take place probably during the fall feasts. So the fall of 2021 would be just my wild guess on that, based on everything else. I go through this in my book, Why. Then it's going to start a 7-year period. They're going to rebuild the temple. During this time, many are going to fall away and quit serving God. Somewhere in here, the mark of the beast is going to be implemented, I think. You're going to have to receive a marker you don't want yourself.
I can't.
7 years after this is going to be 2028.
That isn't ready yet.
I suspect Jesus was crucified in the year 28. And God called Abraham 2,000 years before that, to the day. God seems to work on a 1,000-year calendar, 1,000 years like a day. Every 1,000 years there's something major happens. So from 28 AD, because we know our calendar's off, this is not the year, Jesus was not born in the year 0. We know our calendar's off something. And somebody pointed out there are 3 Passovers in the book of John, and I apologize. I guess I don't know how I missed that. So it could have been Jesus' ministry could have been 2 years and a day. They say 3.5. I don't see any proof for that, but it doesn't matter. So I suspect this is going to be 2028, and that's when the rapture will take place, probably during one of the fall feasts, because everything else has happened on the feast day, those 7 feasts of Israel.
It's too far away.
Okay, could you explain what will happen to Christians after he takes his throne? Are there safe places? Okay, good question, Holly. I don't know. But the Bible says this kingdom that Antichrist sets up is going to be partly strong and partly broken. It is symbolized by Daniel.
I don't have a target.
In my book, I've got a section on that. Daniel's prophecies and his visions are just amazing. Daniel saw an image with the head of gold, or the king saw the vision of the head of gold, chest and arms of silver, belly and thighs of brass, legs of iron, feet of iron and clay. And Daniel interpreted the vision for him. He said, there's going to be 7 world kingdoms. You're the first, and you are the head of gold. After you is going to come the Persian Empire. And sure enough, the Persians conquered the Babylonians. After them, the third one was Alexander the Great. And then the Roman Empire is one option, or the Muslim Empire is the other option. The legs of iron might be the Muslim Empire. Everybody knows I don't think it's positive. I can't be positive on that. Yes, sir. The problem, there have always been empires. The Mongolian Empire. This vision was for Daniel's people. Mongolians didn't conquer them. There was the Apache Empire. There was the Aztec Empire. There have always been empires, but none of them conquered Israel. There would only be empires that influenced Israel. Muslim Empire certainly would be in that. So would the Roman Empire. So it could be either one, but I suspect Muslim, the 2 different branches of Muslim, probably the right and left leg of this vision. But it says at the end, the feet are going to be iron and clay mixed, because the final kingdom is partly strong and partly broken. What does that mean? Well, there's going to be some places where Antichrist is simply not able to enforce his kingdom. He might make a law that says you have to get a mark, and he's just not able to enforce it every place. And I've prayed for a long time, Lord, I would like to be someplace where it's broken. And I think Lenox, Alabama is about as good a place to be. Right? I think in the big cities is not going to be a good place to be. You're going to really not want to be there. So, what will happen to Christians after he takes his throne? Well, Christians are going to be persecuted. There's going to be great tribulation, and this is all on the chart you can get. It's going to get really bad. There's a verse in the Bible that in Luke chapter 8, Luke 18, verse number 8. Jesus said, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? And the question question is never answered. Most of Jesus' questions are never answered that he asked. I think it's one of those redundant type questions that the answer is an obvious no. When the flood finally came, how many people got on the ark? 8. So when the rapture finally takes place, I think we're going to see, wow, there's very few going to still be alive.
I'm out of range.
For one thing, I think persecution is going to hit. Most people are going to be killed during that 7 years. It's just coming. So what do? It hasn't started yet. So win souls. Put on the gas, man. Do something with your life. Quit worrying about who wins the stupid bowl and worry about your neighbor going to heaven. I don't understand. People are so distracted on these dumbest things. Okay, so what's going to happen? It's going to get really bad. If you're faithful to the end, you get the crown of life. You don't get the crowns. I forgot to get the stuff together on that. I'll do it another night. But the 7 different crowns in the Bible that you can win. So that's what's coming. Okay. Dr. Hogan, have there ever been any fossilized sharks? No, not necessarily. Only teeth a shark would fossilize. They don't have any bones. They have all cartilage, which rots away. Have you studied any? Have there been any fossilized sharks in Ryzen? For our science center, you're putting all that together. I'm not aware of any. Question: have there ever been any fossilized shark skeletons from Moses? No, Moses, none, because they don't have a skeleton. Well, they have a cartilage skeleton. Cartilage is the soft material, the gristle when you eat a piece of chicken. It's found in the tip of your nose and in your ears. It's cartilage, and it just doesn't fossilize. I'm not aware of any fossilized cartilage. If you know some, let me know, but I've never heard of any. So now all you're going to find is the teeth with the shark, and they say a 1-inch tooth indicates about a 15-foot shark. And they find fossil shark's teeth indicating sharks used to get 60 feet long, the megalodon. We got some in our museum down here. By the way, if you have any shark's teeth or I was preaching in South Dakota, Union Center, South Dakota. 40 people in the town. 38 of them came to the meeting. We had revival, man. And the guy we stayed at farmer, we stayed at his house. He said, "Hey, would you like some shark's teeth?" I said, "Well, yeah." He said, "They're all over my field. Let's go out." I said, "In South Dakota? That's a little ways from the beach, isn't it?" South Dakota. We went out and found 500 shark's teeth in 30 minutes. Shark's teeth. Some people, they're just coming from the yard. Okay, we would like thousands of them here. We want to use them for prizes for kids to come and do something, memorize a verse or something, or to sell in our bookstore. So if you have fossilized shark's teeth and want to donate them to us, please do. Okay, let's see. Last question. I can take a couple more. Does Henry Moore's study Bible teach a pre-trib or post-trib rapture? Henry Moore's study Bible is fabulous. I have worn out several of them. They're up on the shelf there. I highly recommend it. We sell it, okay? It's the King James Bible with Henry Moore's footnotes at the bottom, and some of them are really fabulous. A few of them we disagree with, so we put a disclaimer at the top. Hey, we don't think he got it right on these topics. I don't recall before in his footnotes seeing him specifically teach pre-trib rapture. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, the major chapter about the rapture, every chapter in 1 and 2 Thessalonians talks about the coming of Christ, at least one verse. But chapter 4's got a whole block of verses on it. And the footnotes in that section I looked up in response to your question here, and he doesn't teach it there. I'm almost certain he did believe in the pre-trib rapture. And the group that he started, Institute for Creation Research, ICR, if I'm correct, is the pre-trib rapture. I did too for 40 years. It's just not true. I wish it was. Get my book. So I can't answer the question, Charles. Does his Bible teach it? I don't. Possibly. Okay? Don't know. Let's see. From ARTEM. How do you pronounce that? ARTEM. Artem. I've never met Artem before. Artem writes, my question is, will there be marriages in heaven? The Bible says in heaven they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but what if you're already married when you go to heaven is the question. There is going to be a grand marriage where Jesus Christ is the bridegroom and the body, all of the believers become the body of Christ. That's a strange doctrine, but the Bible does teach that. Maybe somehow, maybe each believer becomes a tissue or a cell or an organ, I don't know. But we're going to become the bride of Christ. So that will be the marriage. Now, is there human physical marriage in heaven like there is on earth? I don't think so, but the people have argued that both ways, yes. On the new earth, maybe that's the bonus prize. You get to live 1,000 years on earth. Oh, I found the funny story. It comes right in here about marriage. About the preacher getting ordained, about throwing down from the window 70 times 7 and picked up of the fragments 12 baskets full. If you go to the 2 nights ago's YouTube, right at the front, I give the link to it if you read the whole story. But he ends up by saying, he got 70 baskets full of fragments from this wicked woman they threw down. He said, my question to you, gentlemen, is whose wife shall she be in the judgment? A tough one. Okay, he writes on here, here's what I think. In the resurrection, since we can no longer die, but in this respect are like the angels in heaven, there won't be any need for levirate marriage. Levirate, L-E-V-I-R-A-T-E, levirate? What is that? I should have looked that up, I just saw the question here. Don't know, we'll see. God's going to make it where it's wonderful. Some people that are not happily married are going to say, I hope not. Those that are happily married are going to say, yeah. Okay. Oh, from the book of Leviticus, where, if you get married and die with no children, your brother's obligated to marry your wife to raise up children. That kept the prophet's line straight in Israel. Okay, let's see, from W-I-A-N, Wyan, from South Africa. I'm 28 years old, happily married, and this year received a wonderful gift from God, a baby boy. Firstly, I would like to ask whether the unicorn, which is mentioned in the Bible, could possibly be a rhinoceros. You've been studying on the unicorn. What is it?
There's ancient artwork from 1500s that have unicorns.
There's a lot of ancient artwork with unicorns, but again, from the 1500s, would they have known? The Bible mentions the unicorn, and I think I have some stuff on that in video number 7, my question and answer. I simply don't know. I think it's possible a dinosaur with a single horn. Tyrannosaurus, there are several that have single horn. The problem, you mentioned, you found out horses have a suture down the middle of their skull, so it'd be difficult for a horn to grow there, but it could be like a rhinoceros horn is actually made out of hair. Stiff keratin, okay, as opposed to bone. So what did you decide? Is there...
Also, the narwhal has a single horn.
The narwhal has a single horn made of ivory, but does he have a suture in the skull at that point, or is it a plate? I don't know either. I didn't look that up. Can't answer that question, Wian. Certainly the Bible says there was a unicorn, but I don't think it gives enough clues for us to demonstrate what it was. I think it's pretty obvious. It talks about the horn of the unicorn, so it's singular. So it was an animal with a single horn, but that could be, like I said, it could be a rhinoceros if you're talking about, of course, some have double horn, most have double horn. But again, those are just keratin as opposed to bone. It doesn't have to be bone, I suppose, to be single horn. It still would be a horn.
Not ready yet. I can't do that yet.
Please pray for the white minority in South Africa that have been murdered by the dozens by the majority blacks in South Africa, mostly the farmers. This week I read about a little girl who was forced to watch while a black male raped her mother. It's getting worse and worse. Please pray for us, from Wian. This is, thank you to the South African government that took over, the communists that took over, basically. What a political mess that is. So, right now. Heavenly Father, would you please intercede, Father, for the insanity going on in South Africa and in Korea. Lord, please protect your children, particularly, Lord, those who believe in you. But Lord, I pray for the farmers in South Africa, white or black. I pray that you'll protect them, Lord. It seems to be a quick way for people to think they can get rich when they murder somebody and take over their farm. Communism 101. Lord, please stop this. Expose the insanity, protect the innocent, and please stop it, Lord. Unless you got a bigger plan you're working on, Father. That's our prayers. In Jesus' name, amen. Last one, from Michael. Dr. Hogan, thank you much for your ministry. I have a question about the layers of sedimentation and formations like the Grand Canyon and Badlands National Park. It looks like they're both related. How about comparing them with other formations from the rest of the continents, like Australia, Asia, or Africa? What significant information can we learn, like maybe in fingerprints or ballistic identification? Michael, the layers of the Earth, there are similarities all over the world because there was a worldwide flood. There are layers of limestone, for instance, that cover just about the entire United States, single layer. Well, because there was a worldwide flood. This all started back in 1830. Stratton Smith and other people who were looking at the layers in England and across the English Channel in France. They looked and said, wow, the layers are in the same sequence. You know, limestone, chalk, etc., you know, different sandstone. And they said, I bet these used to be one big layer across the English Channel, 30 miles. Well, yeah, probably true. That was from Noah's flood. All the layers would have been formed rapidly by the lateral sideways movement of the water during the flood. As the tide goes up and down, the water has to go sideways to keep the boat full. We cover all that on video number 6, the Hovind theory. Okay, long enough. Any other questions from the room here? Topics we didn't get to cover? Yes, ma'am.
It doesn't mean the two sides of the English Channel used to be connected. It could have been that the channel was filled.
Right, the channel probably washed out, you know, between them. Just because even if they do match each other, it doesn't mean they were connected. Our house and the old house across the fence match. It doesn't prove they broke apart 80 million years ago. So the shapes of the continents is a pure coincidence based on the water level. We cover that on video number 6, the Hovind theory. Okay, call with any questions, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. I take 1 million calls a day. I'll try to get to you. Or send them in via email. We'll get to them in about 40 years. Or come on down to Dinosaur Adventureland and pay a visit. Bring a hammer, we'll put you to work, and then sit around supper time and you can ask any questions you want. We're here to help. We want to strengthen your faith. If you're not a Christian, why not? Give your heart to the Lord and get saved tonight. See you tomorrow. Bye.
What can I do for you? Be good.
Welcome. See you soon. Well met. Keep your feet on the ground.
Great to meet you. Safe travels. How are ya? Off with you. You got my attention. What can I do for you? See you soon. What's on your mind?
for you. Well met. Keep your feet on the ground.